Welcome, everyone. We are back, an impromptu one. I tried to go live a minute ago and suddenly got cut off, but I'm happy to say I've got someone really good coming on in one moment. Who knows ball, unlike me. So let's see if I can bring him in. Let's see what happens here because it's so impromptu. I have not set any of this up. Here we go. Let's see if it works. And we should, any minute now, have... Let's see, Yembele from Red Lines and Half Spaces and the Latte Firm.
Mate, how you doing?
Mate, I'm so good. I'm absolutely buzzing. Absolutely buzzing. This is brilliant. Well, I don't usually do this. I
Honestly,
have, a little PowerPoint set out. I've had to think about the statistics and break down not this evening. I just had to do it. I had to go live, mate. Oh,
it's emotional. It's emotional. It's emotional. Let it all go. Let it all go, Alex. It's an emotional evening. You know, everyone's been emotional. I've tried to explain to my missus as to why I'm emotional. I got zero out of her as to why.
I did the same, and I just got a look
of what I was talking about.
It's.
I tried to say Eze to Arsenal. Eze, he's coming home.
I went on your show. Only what day was it? Monday? Is it Monday? And
Monday.
Yeah. And I remember saying towards the end, I was very, very downtrodden, I'll say. I mentioned the PTSD of being an Arsenal fan and seeing us go short, Wenger not buying a DM to replace like a Gilberto, never getting the striker we needed. And when we finally get in a Aubameyang, it's too late. Now we need in another Ozil replacement. And I felt a bit like we're not going to get the job done. We're going to be 1-2 short. Then the news comes out of Leandro Trossard. A new contract, not an extension, just a pay rise. And I'll be honest, I had absolute head loss. So if anyone wants to go and look at my Twitter, you will see the kind of like inner monologue of me, just the breakdown. I just pure head loss. My head was on Mars. I didn't know what to do with myself. So that's it. We're not buying anyone. The season's almost over before it's begun. And then the feelings of losing against Spurs in pre-season and not performing well against United all started coming out. I was just a child throwing a tantrum and its toys out of the pram. And then lo and behold, 24 hours later, I'm here and I don't know what to do with myself. I'm absolutely, it's an amazing deal. Like, talk to me. How did you find out, mate? How did you see the news?
So I'm in a group. You know, the usual thing. You either get for a WhatsApp group or a Twitter group. I'm not going to call it X. I found out through an X group that I'm on with a load of other people, and do you know what? They react really quickly. We've got some really good Twitter accounts on there.
Yeah.
And they reacted so quickly, and it was like Ornstein's bomber, Ornstein bomber, Ornstein bomber, Ornstein bomber. It was literally like, a whole slew of Ornstein bomber. And then obviously someone put the link in, and that was it. It was meltdown after that. It was like, oh my God, oh my days. And I went like this, oh my God. You've seen that too. Have you seen that meme, the one that goes,
yeah, no.
I was doing that.
I don't know how this deal has got done so quickly. Because do you think this has been sat in the background or?
Yeah, I think so. Look, we all know that Mikel Arteta met and Berta met Eze and his representatives. That was no secret. They went over to his house.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, Sky Sports, Starmesh actually put it correctly. The legwork was actually done in June, at the start of June, because they went to his house, they talked to him, they talked to him about the plans, they talked to him about the what's going to happen and the fee and all, as in what they were going to do. What I think has transpired, and I don't think this is related to the Kai Havertz injury, I think this is just the timing of it. I think, who would want to say that Berta has got a sense of humor and was waiting for Spurs to think that they were actually going to get Eze and then literally just press the button and say, I'm just going to press this button right here to send the bid. Shall I do it now? Go on, you do that. You do that. I would love it to be like that. Could you imagine? You know, like the Arsenal documentary a couple of years ago, that you would love to have a documentary just to that point where they actually message Crystal Palace and say, "We'd like to put a bid in right now, 60 million, get it done," and then just to see the Spurs meltdown. But I think this was done. This was prepared for a while. I think, maybe there's some context that we don't know about in terms of targets and money, or maybe there's an alert that we actually are going to get some money in, which has meant that
Mhm.
we'll just get this done sooner. That it must be an indication that we're going to get money from somewhere, because obviously the note has been from Ornstein, etc., that due to FFP headroom, we don't have that much, but obviously we must be getting something in from somewhere now. But yeah, I think Berta did his homework, which is what we assumed from someone who's that quality.
Yeah, I mean, it's more or less the perfect signing for what we need, like for a multitude of reasons, isn't it? Like you just look at the deal culturally. So this is a hell end product. His family love Arsenal. The fan base are all behind it. The I presume I know Ryan was in the chat earlier. Ryan said essentially the news currently is that he will still play for Crystal Palace one more time, which I'm more than happy with, and I actually commend him for that. I think that's fantastic. There's so many players that will say no,
Yeah,
I'm not
but
going to do it, and
well, think about the think about this: the EZE situation compared to the EZE situation.
yeah,
It's all been the same. Everyone knew that Eze was going to be on the move. But did he kick up a stink? Did he say, "I'm not going to play. I'm not going to do this"? He's waiting for the clubs to do their deals, and the deal has been done. He's come of it. Palace fans are happy with the money they got. Look, it's not ideal. The timing of it is not ideal, but they get the money. But if you look at the EZE situation, look how poisonous that has become in terms of what it is. And badly advised. Look, this is the difference between getting a good agent and a bad
yeah,
agent who is advising you badly. And I don't know Isaac's agent, but if you look at it, the advice has been bad from minute one, because it's not the way you do it. Because now he's been scapegoated by Newcastle. No matter what he'll do, he could score a hatful, but they'll know that he wants to go anyway. So it is what it is. But yeah, sorry to interrupt.
no.
Again, it's just good. It's been done correctly, although for Spurs, probably not. I assume Spurs fans think we're a bit of hey, I don't care. I really don't care what Spurs fans think at the moment.
I am hoping that he is unveiled against Leeds and that Sol Campbell
I'm going to be
comes
there.
and brings
I'm
him
going to be
out.
there.
Like, oh, mate. Oh, I am so envious you're going to be there. Like, I genuinely, that is the perfect video. Like, we always have these brilliant videos. They're always very artistic and stuff. All they need to do is, did you see the Sol Campbell advert, the one with the telephone, the mobile thing? I think
Yeah,
they just do like a
yeah.
at the end of that, like a behind the scenes thing where he's like, the phone rings and he goes, "Oh, hello," and then it goes over to Everett Eze to say, "I'm on the way." That's it. That's all they need to do. 10 seconds, done, and that will just. It's
Do you know
so
what?
good.
There's so many ways you could do this. There's so many ways you can do this. But the fact is, if we can present him on Saturday to the fans, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but that would be the ideal scenario, given that his medical is on Friday.
Mhm.
You'd think that he'd be in the crowd, he not in the crowd, but in the boxes, to watch. If he is, the Emirates on Saturday, first home game of the season, is going to be, and I'm not downplaying this, mental. And I am
Yeah.
so honestly, I am so looking forward to. I'm one of the few, the lucky few who actually get to go to the Emirates, and I can't wait. Honestly, the atmosphere anyway, even if it's not presented, the atmosphere is going to be mental because they know that he's coming.
And it's what a contrast, because I have a feeling that there would be a small part of that fan base at the Emirates that would start, almost, I don't want to start saying, toxic, but when fans start to turn, if you don't start playing well or Leeds score an early goal and everyone's get this feeling of the club aren't doing what we need them to do. And like, people have got real high expectations now of this team. We've come second 3 times in a row. We got to Champions League semi-finals, but we are still yet to just cross that finish line. And now everyone's going to be behind the club. Everyone's going to be behind the players, behind the board, behind the manager. It's so funny. Like I think you said earlier, I was listening to the Latte Firm, the Twitter Spaces. Am I right in saying you are the person who
Yeah.
said the about the shirt sales?
No, I didn't say about the shirt sales, but I
Or
know the
was it
point. You
Wayne?
know, obviously
Possibly Wayne.
with Victor Gyökeres, he was. It might have been Wayne. It might have been Wayne. But with with Victor Gyökeres is obviously the fastest shirt seller in history. I think Eze will be the fastest shirt seller shortly when he signs, because there is such a grip, an emotional grip with the Arsenal fans. Every Arsenal fan I've talked to has said, "We want Eze. I want Eze.
Yep.
Doesn't matter what they're doing, but I want Eze. I want him to come to Arsenal." It's the emotional pull. It's the quality of the player, and we all love that story of a Hale Ender returning. It's the perfect little thing, the circle of life type thing. And I think it's just the perfect time for him to come back, and really there is a space for him. Look, unfortunately, we talked about it on the on the Red Lines Half Spaces podcast. Martinelli is not in great form. That's just the how it is at the moment. And there is a space there where Eze can occupy.
Yeah.
It's not his preferred position, but he's not going to be bad there at all. He's going to be pretty decent there, actually, comparatively over Martinelli, if you look at it, because on the transition, one-on-ones, we need a player like Eze, to be honest, to move us up the field quicker, get some passes in, create something to get a shot off. It's deeply frustrating. We talked about this at length, that we love Martinelli, but he's a deeply frustrating player at the moment in terms of his lack of confidence, the lack of system around him. Eze kind of changed that, because Eze's adaptable. That's the thing. He can play outside, inside, centrally, to the right, to the left. I'm really looking forward to seeing how him and Odegaard hook up, because the creativity potential is going to be immense there, I think.
It's mad to think that now we can kind of even go along the lines of Man City when they played. It was De Bruyne and Silva, wasn't it? And they kind of played with almost two tens at times. Like, we can do that if we want. We can play him out on the left wing and have a player that's actually good at running lines and able to drift in and take a man on one. It gives so many different options. Just looking at transitionally, we have a player that's able to break lines. We've got a player that's able to make the pass at the right time and make the right pass. Like, the amount of times that I look and I think, oh, look, why have you passed it that direction, for example? And he very rarely does that. I think it's something that's going to kind of go under the radar as well. As he likes the outside of the foot ball towards the right wing, the quick switch, which is going to give Saka actually an ability to go one-on-one with a defender. And we never, ever see that. I think the last time I saw that was it was the Kai Havertz one. Do you remember where he picked the ball up? I think it was that Spurs. Was that Spurs? Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Spurs, I think it was Spurs.
We never ever have that. No one else in our squad has the ability to do that, or has the kind of guile to even think about it. It's a brilliant sign.
That's you nailed it on the head just there. The guile. No one in our team has that little chaos factor, the one that's going to disrupt, and you don't know where he's going. I don't know where Eze is going to go. He can play system, but he's also got the individuality to say, hold on, I want to try something different here. I want to break the line. I want to break through the press. The other thing as well, the mid block. We have struggled with the mid block for years. Newcastle, Nottingham Forest, all these teams, the mid block. Eze is the mid block breaker. He will break through the mid block and will create chaos. And that's the difference. That he's not this kind of look. Again, we come back to Martinelli, and I really hate that I'm slating him, but Martinelli is so predictable that you know what he's going to do. Byline, try and cut back. Eze can cut back, but he will not necessarily always go to the byline. He'll go outside. He'll get inside. I'm honestly so excited to see what Arteta does with him, because Arteta, the theory is that when you put him with better players, he will jump to another level. You'd think that, wouldn't you, Alex? That he should. level up. And that's the thing. He's playing as well with England colleagues, Madueke, Saka.
Yeah. Yeah. I
You
haven't
know,
even thought about that. Yeah.
it's so exciting. I'm so excited. The options. Do you know what? The news about Kai Havertz is devastating in terms of the forward line, and we are going to have. I think still we need a striker there. But this has cushioned the blow slightly because Eberechi Eze is such a versatile player that we could put Martinelli into the striking area and just have him as a striker. But he gives you so many options in terms of how you set up. Do you set up, as you said, 2 8s with Erdegaard and Eze
Hmm.
against lesser teams? No disrespect, but the lesser teams. If you're going up against the Burnleys, etc., you go with Eze and Erdegaard to run it through. Or do you stick Eze to the left and Saka to the right, let them interchange and go mad with it? There's just so many possibilities that a player that good and that fluid will offer you.
Do you think he automatically takes over free kick duty as well now? Because I would presume he would. Like Declan Rice has
Declan,
finally kind of taken up that mantle and gone, you know what, I'm going to be the man. But
it's good. Do you know what? It's good to have multiple takers. It's good to have multiple takers
Yeah.
finally. I don't like the idea that people know. It's like our corner routine. People figured out our corner routine last year, and it was too easy after March onwards.
Yeah.
Our free kick routine, look, we haven't scored one for a while, but everyone knows what Declan's going to do. But Eze is another option as well. So again, it's about creating options to disrupt the game. This is our biggest problem. We are too rigid. Arsenal are a rigid side at the moment. And you need unpredictability. There's only a few players who can offer unpredictability. Eze is the perfect one. He's at the perfect age as well to be knowledgeable, to work in a system with a top quality manager, to be refined enough to play in a system, but individualistic enough to offer something different. And that's what you want. And free kicks again is another where he can offer his input, and that's what you want. That when you're lining up, wherever it is, the left of the goal, right of the goal, etc., and you're thinking, who's going to take it? Is it Declan or is it Eze? You want that instability because you don't want your goalkeeper knowing, oh, it's Declan. He'll go for the top corner. So shooting from range, goal, free kicks, all of this. I want unpredictability because it's too easy. We try to walk the ball in all the time. It's very rare that we shoot from outside the box.
Like
Declan's the only person.
Yeah. I had a look earlier at the stats. So he's in the 98th percentile for shots from free kicks, which basically shows that he just goes, you know what? I don't care if it's towards the touchline. I don't care how close it is towards the box. I'm going for it. And I think sometimes you said about like the rigidness. I love Nicholas Yova and what he does. Like he's obviously an incredible set piece coach, and he's taken us on to the next level for that because that's always been something we've struggled with. But Declan Rice against Real Madrid was a prime example of a player standing, looking at the position, the game state, everything, and saying to himself, you know what? The pass is probably the right option, but I am confident enough in my skills to take the other option, which in hindsight was obviously the right option.
Yeah.
I think Eze has got that as well, and we need more of that.
And I think that's the thing. You want those characters to be strong enough to say, I'm going to have this. Because if you're too system based, then when the system fails, what do you do? It's what we had last year. Our biggest problem was when the system fails and teams set up well against you, what did we do? Horseshoe.
Yeah.
We don't need that. We need unpredictability. Liverpool work well. City work well because they have the system and unpredictability. We've needed this for a while now. Premier League, who will he's one of the star players in the Premier. He in every interview that he gives, where he talks about his favorite club, it's Arsenal. Yep. He will fight for the shirt. That's the difference. This is the thing that you want. You want a top quality player, but the one who's absolutely going to go hell for leather for the shirt. Victor Gyökeres has said it because Victor Gyökeres wants to go to the top level, and he knows this is the opportunity. So you hope that he will explode. But the difference with Eze is we already know what he is. And we
Yes.
know that he's going to fight even harder than with Palace. No disrespect to Palace, but he will fight harder than ever with Arsenal. As well as that, I can't wait to see him in the Champions League. I can't
Oh,
wait to see
mate,
him how he.
yeah, 100%. Like that's something else as well, isn't it? Like we can give him that, but for him, it's like the hallowed ground. It's the place where he's gonna be thinking, I finally get to really show how good I am, and I think
Against the top team, against the top
it
teams.
suits him down to the ground as well. The way those games are played, it suits him. I said this about Victor Gyökeres. I think we will see him at his best in Europe. It's a case of a player that he doesn't seem to me like a player that's ever going to shirk responsibility or go to like a difficult ground. You know, like if you have to go to someone like Turkey, and it's always a bit of a horror for any player. They turn up and you've got all the flares and things. I can't imagine him ever worrying about that, or a San Siro, or and
I think you'll
Eberici
love it.
Eze.
I think you'll love it.
Love it.
I think
Yeah,
you'll absolutely love it.
it's gonna be. The other thing is, like, I was trying to
The
think.
thing is that
Go for it, yeah, yeah, go for it.
go.
Like,
No, the thing is with this signing, sorry, is that in the league format that we have the opportunity to have these games where it feels like the Premier League, and we perform much better in these games.
yeah,
But also for Eze, you either go to Tottenham, who are going to play 1 year at most. Look, the facts are the facts. They sneaked through into the Champions League by winning a second tier tournament that should never have been allowed to play the Champions League. I never understand it, but they're there. But who are you going to go for the long term? Who would give you year on year Champions League experience? Because that's what improves you as a player. That's what it's done for every big player. And he needs that. He needs to be at the top level, whether it's at the sharp end of the Premier League, the sharp end of the Champions League. There was only one choice, and it was always only going to be ever one choice. Even with the pull of Arsenal, if he had no link to the club, and you put Arsenal against Tottenham, which club are you going to choose? There is no competition.
mate, you hit the nail on the head there. Like, it's so true. Like, this deal is something that the club have needed for a long time now. Just in terms of like profile, I was trying to think of the last player that had the same kind of maverick style. You know, we rarely have seen anyone since kind of the Wenger days. I guess, like, off the top of my head, the last like true,
Arshavin?
yeah, I he was in my head, and then I thought the last one that was like really capable of doing it on a regular basis was probably Alexis. Like, is that the last one that I can think of?
Yeah, I agree. Alex on the regular, on the physically as well, couldn't
Mm,
handle the Premier League and still deliver quality moments. Arshavin could do it, but physically wasn't there.
yeah,
But he gave you some fabulous moments. I agree. I think the Arteta era has really been about rigidity and the system. And I
yeah,
think he's learned a little bit from last year that it doesn't work as well as he would like it. And he needs to introduce some unpredictability to get past these mid blocks, these low blocks, because he's going to come against them when every team outside of the big ones will always play the mid to low block. That's just the fact now.
yeah,
It's what we are.
100%.
We are. So he has to break that somehow. And now it's the case of you've got weapons. You've got Eberechi Eze. You've got Victor Gyökeres. You've got a fit Martin Odegaard. You've got hopefully a fit Bukayo Saka when he gets back to full fitness. But you've got weapons that will help to break the mid block and maybe give us a better opportunity in these games, which is our downfall. The downfall is not the big games. Our downfall is these,
Yeah,
mid-tier and lower tier games. That's where we lose the title every year.
yeah, 100%. Like, quick question, like, off of Eze, because obviously this deal was more or less. I would say it's been implied, it's been instigated by the Havertz injury. So, do you think that is the case, or do you think it was always going to
No,
happen anyway?
it was always going to happen. I think it was just about the money.
Yeah.
You don't go to someone's house. I've rarely heard of Arteta going to someone's house. Hello there, Eze. Just rocking up to your house. Love to see you, but I'm not going to sign you. Just came for some snacks. I don't think so. I think this was always going to be the plan because you don't have that level of investment in a player and the time that you invest. Because Mikel Arteta's time is precious.
Mhm.
This was about, I think, when he just came back from holiday, wasn't it?
Yes, I
He'd
think
just
so.
come back
Yeah.
from his holiday, and you've got Berta and all the intermediaries there. You don't do that kind of thing just for, well, we're not going to sign you. But I think what happened was that they needed to make sure there was some money going to come in. Now, obviously, the Havertz injury has caused a shift in not necessarily us accelerating Eze, but maybe Trossard's deal keep it, more or less keeping him at the club. I don't see him moving now, given that the wages are so high.
Mm.
Um, I still think a striker would be ideal, but again, do we have the funding and the potential? We need to know what the outgoings are, because if we get all the outgoings that we want to out, then we probably do have one more in us. But again, I am not complaining now. Do you know what? Bert has blown me away this window. Honestly, I'm so happy with the business that we've done. Obviously, it's really disappointing with the Havertz injury because we thought, we've got two top level strikers who
Yeah.
could go for us, but we still wait to find out how long it's going to be. The rumor is it's an MCL, which is about 3 months, which is not great. That's half the season.
Yeah.
So again, we'll see if we have anything left in the window. We still got 2 weeks left of the window, so we'll see if we do anything further. But I don't think any Arsenal fan can complain now with the signing of Eze that we haven't not necessarily addressed every area, because we're not going to address every area, but we've had probably one of our best windows ever, I think, in terms of the
I
overall
think
signs. Because if you look at the
it's
rest of
got
the
to be the
the
most
league,
spent, hasn't it?
not necessarily spend, but in terms of the completeness of what you're doing, because you could go out and buy,
Oh
the
yeah.
100 million Declan Rice, but in terms of filling out your squad properly to what you need, for me, it's the best one. We're now stacked in pretty much every position. The Havertz injury aside, we still had two top quality strikers at this, when they're fit. So for me, I think Berta has really done well. It's now sales again. We're talking about it, but it's now sales, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Kivior's been mentioned in a separate deal to this, to Palace. How much would
Hmm.
you take, like, minimum for him? Because I know 25 mil was kind of flirted about. For me, I feel that's too low, especially after the season he had last year. Like, performances against Real Madrid, that alone should kind of raise him up. Like, his stock cannot be higher than it currently is, surely.
It can't, but the problem is, where's the market for him? You
Mm.
need a bidding war to lift that up. And if Palace are the only one, it depends on. Look, Porto are apparently there, but Porto are offering 23 million. You've got Palace offering 25 million, so you would take the 25 because that's the only one. It depends on Kivior, actually. If Kivior says, I don't want to go, then I think Arsenal will be happy to say, you don't need
Okay.
to go.
Yeah.
Because again, it has to be value for money, doesn't it? In Kivior's case, it has to be value for money. I think for Fabio Vieira, for example, I don't see Fabio Vieira ever improving for Arsenal.
No.
And I
No.
think the problem is he wouldn't play for Arsenal again. I just don't see where he's going to. There's too much competition now. He's not suited physically for the league. It's an unfortunate thing, because there is a talented boy there.
Yeah.
So I think he will go. And then you look at, Stuttgart are saying we want 17. We want it 17 million. Probably think it might be 20 million, and then that would be that. So that's a loss for us overall, because obviously we pay 40 million, etc. Then you've got players like Reece Nelson, who's been injured on 100k a week. We're not going to get big fees for these players, because Faisal put it really well on the Latte firm. These are players on big wages, comfortable in London. Why would they push for the move unless they personally feel that they need to? Zinchenko won't push for a move unless he gets a package, 165k a week. Who's going to pay that for a left back unless you get a low transfer fee? They won't do it. So
And he's such a
again, sales are now
specialised left back
important.
as well. So and the systems seem to be moving away from that now. It's more transition based again. So
Exactly.
again, who's going to be in the market for him? I really worry. Unless, I mean, the news was that Marino might want him, and then to play him in midfield. That's the only way I can see him really getting a move. I can see him just sticking around, really.
Yeah, but again, this is the problem that we've had with Arsenal for years. That look, we were desperate at that point. We'd signed 2 players in Gabriel Jesus and Zinchenko who were game changers for a season and a half. There's no doubt of that. But the wages they're on are prohibiting us from pushing on, I would say. And that's not a slight to what they've done for us, but that's just the reality of where it is at the moment. Gabriel Jesus is going to come back from a double ACL. I'm sorry, I have never seen a player come back from a double ACL who will be at the top level of the Premier League. It's just not possible. It's, you're talking about one ACL is a career threatening injury. 2 is in the Premier League. I just don't see him coming back to the top level of the Premier League. I just think his knees won't be able to take it.
No, they won't. I mean, the only player I can think of that ever had 2 horrific knee injuries is R9. And I mean, he is.
Yeah, but look what it did to his career was shortened, wasn't it? As well, different massively. Circumstances, but
yeah, such a shame.
But yeah, I can't see it, and that means that we know Andrea Berta is looking to shift him on quite quickly. It's just a matter of when. Similar to Takahiro Tomiyasu, you wonder. But Zinchenko's a hard one because I don't see where he's going to land with that kind of salary unless we compromise on the fee. But that's Berta's job. Berta's job is now to sell, and let's see what he does because he's done really well with the incomings. If any Arsenal fan says, "Oh, this has been a terrible summer," no, sorry, I'm not going to get on board with that because if you sign EZE, everyone was saying EZE is the cherry on the top, and he's giving you the cherry on the top. So you are done, people. Yes, we need a left winger. Yes, we may need a centre forward, but not many clubs get everything they want in a window. Look at Man United. Man United have had to stack their attack, and it's done very well for them. Let's not understate that. But their midfield is absolute dross. Their defence is still absolute dross.
Their keeper
so they haven't
is
done
absolute dross.
Oh my god, their keeper definitely is. Their keepers is absolute dross. But that's the difference. Look, we are limited by our funds. There's no doubt of that. But Bert has delivered on the window, on his remit for the window. I feel. If someone else disagrees with me, I'm welcome to discuss why. But I don't see a reason why anyone would think that he hasn't delivered in this window, personally.
Yeah, I may have been able to argue it prior to this news. I saw someone saying, like, the theory of Arteta wanted Garcia, he got Kepa, he wanted Ribeiro, and he got Mosquera. He didn't want Norgard, and all of these things. He wanted Sesko, and he got Gyökeres. I look at it now with Eze, and I say you cannot argue it now. Originally, on Monday, again, little plug for you, mate, on the Red Lines and Half Spaces podcast, I said that the majority of our signings have had to be out of necessity and replacements because the outgoings and the lack of business that we've done over the past, well, I'll argue 3 windows if you include the mini window at the beginning of the summer. But now, with Eze and Gyökeres coming in, they are 2 players that can definitely challenge for first 11 space. And they're definitely game changers. They give us
Zubamendi as well.
Yeah, and Zubamendi.
We keep forgetting about.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I didn't say him was simply because obviously we lost the engine room, so it's kind of but he is still for me. I think he will be the signing of the season. Which, by the way, I will say I have been told that he was ill just before the Man United game.
Yeah,
he was severely ill, and then
he still dropped a decent performance. He wasn't bad.
So, I mean, that's a really good sign.
That's
again.
I'm so. Do you know? I didn't think about. I didn't think about this, but Eze and Zubamendi. Ooh, that could be a very tasty combination because Zubimendi will be forward passing all the time, and Eze will just be like, "I'm right here. Just feed me now. Let's just." He'll allow him to be higher up the pitch as well, which is going to be oh my god, it's going to be beautiful. I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't
Oh,
wait.
before we
Sorry,
finish
my
up,
voice is
mate.
going a bit high pitched.
That's
Just thinking.
all right. Before we finish up, just a couple of questions for you. I know there's a little bit of a delay as well, so don't worry. First one is, with the Havertz injury, does that now mean that Marino is our kind of number 9, second in command at number 9 now? Or do you think Trossard will kind of come into that role?
Wow, you've really not given me any options for anything
I don't really
beneficial.
know what else. I
Um,
mean,
I think we may still. I think we may go for one more. I think we may try for one more. I don't know who it is, but there is a rumor that we may try for one more. I don't know if it will happen. If not, then it will be Trossard or Marino. It's not. But
okay.
that's a lot of pressure on Victor Gyökeres now. It's a lot of pressure on Victor Gyökeres now to acclimatize quickly and get used to the league. But he's going to play all the games, isn't he? Now he's
Yeah.
got no choice.
Oh, we have to. Which brings me on to my next question. Lovely segue there, Yembele. So Stig mentioned it earlier. He said, for the perfect window now, a loan move. I love his positivity on this. A loan move for Rodrigo or Barcola would crown it. Now, I cannot imagine us getting a loan move, especially for Barcola. But do you think then if we could get one more, do you think an out-and-out kind of touchline left winger or another striker is like the bigger pressing need right now?
The problem being is that when Kai Havertz comes back, you're going to have 3 strikers of decent quality. How do you play them?
Mm-hmm.
I think, given that Eze is joining, and you suppose he'll be on the left wing, they will be a loan. So it'll be a loan sign, depending on the Havertz injury. We don't know the full extent. If it's like 2.5 months, I think they'll ride it out because there's enough room to do that. If it's longer, if it's 6 months or something like that, then I think we will have to go for someone because that's the problem. Look, you cannot go through half the season. We did that last season, and we paid the ultimate price for it. He's learned that lesson, but the problem is obviously we have to get these sales done. So I don't think there's a loan. I don't think Rodrigo is going to join us. I think the funds for Rodrigo are astronomical. He's asking for 300k a week. You've got agents' fees, entourage fees. Real Madrid want, a reasonable loan fee, then an obligation as well. I don't see that happening unless Real Madrid and the player change their stance, and he has to change his stance to join Arsenal. Unless Man City change the game, which I don't see happening because they want Savinho's staying now. So to me, it doesn't feel like that one's going to happen.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, before the Eze news, I was looking and going, who's like the perfect player that you can get in to play at the left and up top? So for me, I was looking at Leao, and I was going, because he was kind of playing as a 2 over the weekend, and I thought that would be a really interesting deal. But now, I mean, anything I'd be happy with, anything extra. I think.
I think it just depends on Havertz. It depends on it depends on Havertz and how long he's out for.
Yeah.
That's going to be the driver, I think, and also how we sell PSR headroom. There's a lot of factors now. Given that, look, we're about to drop 60 million on Eze. Although it may be favourable payment terms, we're still dropping 60 million on Eze. That's not a small amount.
Yeah. Final question for you, yeah. So if I quickly bring up the fixtures, because we know we've got Leeds next. So we have got.
So we've got Liverpool. Then we got Liverpool. He makes his debut at Anfield.
Yeah, I was going to say,
that's
when
mental.
do you think he makes his first start? Do you think he
Liverpool?
starts
I think it's
Liverpool?
I think it's Liverpool.
Oh my God.
I think he starts against Liverpool because think about it, Frimpong. Yeah, but are you worried about putting him in?
No, because of his experience in the league.
Played the big games. Frimpong will want to go forward all the time, but he cannot do that. Liverpool will be forced to do something they can't do with the current personnel, to play the defensive wall. Frimpong cannot defend. I have seen enough in the first game to make me think, no, you're too small. You struggle with, his tactic is to grab somebody, which he's going to get pulled up on eventually. Even with Liverpool's, let's say favoritism, favorable outcomes. But I want to see him start. I want to see him start Anfield. Why not? Why wouldn't I want to start him at Anfield? It's perfect. It was different. Look, if you play Martinelli, Frimpong can chase back. There's a difference there, and Martinelli gives up the ghost. But Eze gives you something different. I would love to have him start. It would just make it perfect because he's ready he's fit, he's ready. Get him just get him a week playing with the squad. Boom! I'm all for
that. Mate, thank you so much for coming on. Like completely impromptu. Just sent you a message. And you're like, yep, oh come on, not a problem. Like genuinely, always a legend. Like quickly. I may have mentioned it already. Like, where can people find you, Yem?
So you can find me in 2 places at the moment. Red Lines Half Spaces, which is my podcast that I do with my good friend Joseph Hassan. We release regularly. You kindly came on this week, so again we try to put it out as quickly as possible. We're going to do a match preview this week for Leeds. Hopefully do a review. Then you can also find me Friday nights on the Latte Firm Late Night Lounge with the excellent Wayne and the legend FK. You can always find me on Twitter, always tweeting, especially tonight. I am tweeting like mad at the moment because I'm so excited. When I get excited about something, then you'll see me go with random emojis and random memes. So that's what's happening tonight. And you'll see me do more because after this, I'm going to go and look at Spurs content and see the downfall and the tears.
I'd already seen... Is it Ben Bowman? And he put out a little video of Arsenal fans going, "Oh, Arsenal fans, you think you're gonna buy him?" And so that one's been sat waiting. So no doubt I'll use that.
I've got a couple. There's so many channels that I just have to go and watch so many videos just to see them. I watched, what was it? There was one with like 6 people in a room that were doing it. 6 Tottenham fans. All of them, their faces were dead, absolutely dead. And I was sniggering. And my child was looking at me going, "Daddy, why are you laughing so much?" I was saying, "You'll understand it as you get older, but this is just one of the greatest days I've ever seen."
Oh, mate, it's the news we all needed. It is. It's the news we all needed. I will say as well, just so everyone's aware, I've been that excited that I've left up the Fockles podcast thing when it should be like this. Okay, it should be like this, everyone. And during this, I've realised
I could be Volks for a period.
Yeah, you're up there, mate. But don't worry. During it, I just went, "Oh no, I've got to quickly change this. I've got to make a little latte firm." That's how quickly I did it. So I do apologise. Genuinely. Go and follow Verge59 Yembele because mate, you always make me chuckle. Like you're always on there. I don't know how you have time for it, to be fair. But,
hey, today I'm on a different level today. I'm on a different level today at the moment. I'm so honestly, my grin is not stopping. I might actually have lockjaw shortly.
But we'll definitely try to get you back on the podcast soon, mate. Like for a proper one. It'll be slightly more organised than this. And I will be probably maybe not as grinning slightly as much, but it has to happen. It has to happen. If you haven't, anyone, please.
You never know. Look, when we win the Premier League, I'll be still grinning again.
Mate, if we win the Premier League, I'm going to do a live vlog all the way from my journey from Cornwall up to the parade, and then it's going to be the whole way. And I'll get everyone involved. Get you, Basil. I'll get Dobbo on. Yes. Get the boys from the Cannon podcast. It's going to be a big party. That one. It's going to be a big party. I can't wait. So I'll see you. I'll see you in May. Thanks, everyone.
It's a date, my friend. Eze's going to get Eze and Co.
Like and subscribe to the channel. We will see you soon. Cheers, Yem. Cheers, everyone. Bye now.